Okay, here we go. This is actually an update to an update video. Best digital music distributor of 2018. Guys, I've completely changed my mind, and I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't use Ditto in 2019, right after this. Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Thanks for checking it out. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Click that subscription button. Make sure though that you hit the bell icon next to it so that you're notified every time I upload a new video. And as always, follow me across social media at @TheSteveFreeman everywhere. All right, let's get into it. So I did an update video about a month ago on the best digital music distributor of 2018, and I told you all about a company that I've been using recently called Ditto. Now I have to say that everything was going great. At the time that I made the video, I was super impressed with Ditto's service and the ease of upload and the amount of time and effort that it takes to put a release up through Ditto and get it out, and that they were very timely in meeting release schedules and actually getting them into the stores. Then about 2 weeks ago, all of that changed. Now, I could sit here and go back over it step by step and tell you the issue and the problem that I had, but instead of doing that, I talked about this at length and went into detail about an email that I got from Ditto and the ensuing issue that caused a major uproar. I talked about it on my podcast in detail. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you that portion of the Steve Freeman podcast and give you the details. Here it is. You guys know me. I'm a realist, so I'm going to tell you about something that happened the other day, and it just absolutely frustrated me beyond all belief. I did a video for the YouTube channel last year. Actually, I did two videos last year titled the best digital distributor of 2018 and then the best digital distributor of 2018 updated. In the first video, I talked about and went over the digital distribution platform DistroKid, which I love. It's still a great platform. I love the fact that especially for independent artists, many of you have investors or you have people that have a financial interest in your projects. One of the features that DistroKid gives you is the ability to be able to allocate certain percentages of the payments and the royalties that come in to go automatically to a publisher or a co-writer or an investor or mom, dad, grandma, grandpa. That way when that $1.99 comes in, it automatically distributes it to these people. It sends you put their email address in, they create an account, it goes to their bank account or their PayPal. Loved it, great thing. And then I ran across, somebody asked me to check out Ditto. So I thought, okay, I'll check out Ditto. Ed Sheeran has used Ditto in the past. I mean, it's supposed to be a very reliable and great source. So I had a project for an artist that I'm developing and producing. We put it out in November, and we did exactly what we do. And I've never had this happen before, but we did exactly what we do through the Artist Development Company, and that is one thing that we believe in. We believe in it just as strongly as Gary Vee does, even though he's selling wine and tennis shoes and speaking engagements. We believe in the power and the undervaluement of Facebook ads and Instagram story ads. Right now, it's very cheap to run. They're very cheap to run on both of those platforms, and they're highly effective, especially if you're looking at a certain age range. So one of the things that we implemented well over 2 years ago was buying large amounts of Facebook ads and Instagram story ads and driving that traffic to Spotify, to Apple Music, to Google Play, to all of the different digital sales and streaming platforms. I was sitting at my desk here. I was doing something, and I got an email from Ditto that the title of the email was illegal streaming. So it caught my attention right away. I'm like, what is going on? So I started reading this email, and I number one, I just started getting really upset as I went along. As a matter of fact, I'm going to look and see if I can find the email. Oh, I've got it right here. It said, "Hi there, we're contacting you to report that Spotify has detected abnormal streaming activity on content provided by you. Spotify are working to stamp out artificial streaming activity across our service and use a model that determines when a product has quote-unquote abnormal streaming activity, which is determined using a combination of the following factors, among others." Here are the factors that they list. Number of streams the album received in the past week. Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. Do they send this out to every major label artist that puts out a new album that gets 1 million streams in a week? Why would that draw a red flag that your album's got a lot of spins? That's ridiculous. Second reason, number of users who stream the album. So is it now odd to Spotify and Ditto that you have a large amount of people streaming your content? Isn't that what they're there for? Here's the third reason. Total number of streams, total number of users who stream the track. Again, total number of streams and total number of users. I thought the whole idea was to use Spotify as a platform to launch artists and to drive as much traffic as you can to your Spotify page and get people to stream your singles or your album or your EP. Evidently, the rules have changed. Here's number 3. Number of tracks on the album. So they are now looking at the number of tracks that you put on an album. The album that I'm talking about was an EP. It was 5 songs. Everybody's releasing EPs. 5 songs. So far, we've not met any of the criteria. The next point is number of quote-unquote short-length tracks on the album, meaning 60 seconds or less. Every song on this project was over 3 minutes long. The next one that they give you is number of short-length streams on the album. Okay, now this is where I'm like, okay, this one I can kind of understand because it is possible to go out and buy streams and all of that stuff on Spotify. I'm not telling you guys anything that you don't know. I don't believe in doing that because it offsets the numbers and they're not real. And if you're using Spotify to launch your artist career, what good does it do to have a bunch of fake listeners and listens? It's just a number. It doesn't help get your name out there. It doesn't help grow your brand. It's ridiculous. And I advise everybody never do that. But this says number of short-length streams on the album. Now, here is my, if I can, well, okay, let me say this and then I'll back up and I'll tell you what's happened since then. This was Friday. This was January 4th at 11:05 a.m. when I got this. And I believe that was Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Number of short-length streams on the album. Number 1, there is nobody on the face of this planet that can control how long any given listener is going to listen to any song or podcast or anything on Spotify. There's no way to know how long those people are going to listen. If you're doing what we're doing, which is the correct way of doing it, which is marketing music, it's the same thing that Warner Brothers does. It's the same thing that Universal does. It's the same thing that Sony does. Same thing that every other major label, a big machine, it's the same thing that all the other major labels do. They market music using Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Snapchat, if there's Snapchat ads, which I'm new to Snapchat, by the way. If you're on Snapchat, go follow me, the Steve Freeman. Shameless plug there for the old brand. At 42 years old, I figure Gary Vee got me started on Snapchat and convinced me that I needed to have one. So here we go. We've got one. Nevertheless, it's about marketing your music. Every major label does it. Every artist does it. Every artist that isn't doing it should be doing it. And we'll talk about that later when we get to the meat of the podcast tonight. But there is no way on God's green earth that anyone can control how long somebody's going to listen to a song. So I get this, and I think, okay, I'm with you. I see what you're saying here. Is this your attempt to contact me so that we can work this out, so that I can call you or we can email back and forth, some sort of open line of communication to say, hey, we think there's suspicious activity. Can we talk to you about this? so that they could call me and I could say, no, we're running thousands of dollars of ads per week on Facebook and Instagram, driving traffic to their Spotify page. So, I mean, this is it's a legitimate deal, just like you'd advertise any other product. Perfectly legal, perfectly normal, nothing illegal streaming about it. So then I get to that point and I'm like, okay, then there's the last one, territorial activity. Okay, so when you run highly targeted Facebook ads and Instagram ads and Instagram story ads, I went in, I pulled up Spotify for Artists, and I looked at where all the streams were coming from. They were coming from all of the markets where we were buying advertising and geo-targeting those areas in specific age groups. All of the streams were coming from those areas. And so now you've got this as a factor for abnormal streaming, abnormal activity, depending on what territory it's coming from. Again, just like the last point, there's no way on God's green earth that you can determine where people are going to listen from. This is ridiculous, guys. I'm going to run over this one more time, and those of you in the music business, you listen up, because this is how this right here, if you want my opinion, and we're going conspiracy theory now, but you know what? That's fine. Spotify and the other streaming platforms were the last bastion for the independent artist to have some sort of a level playing field with major label artists. This, to me, sounds like a major label conspiracy. This, to me, sounds like the major labels have gotten together with Spotify and said, hey, because this past year was record-setting for independent artists on Spotify. No joke. It was record-setting. I don't have the number in front of me. I should have had it. I wasn't planning on going this deep into this tonight, but I'm really, really, really pissed off about it. And I'll tell you in a minute why I'm so pissed off. But this is a real deal here. When you look at, they're now considering abnormal activity based on these factors. Numbers of streams the album's received in the past week. So if you're an independent artist and you've got a large following, and you've done all that hard work and you've built up this following, and you launch your album, you put it out there and it's on Spotify, and you direct all your fans to go stream it on Spotify, you're now going to be flagged as having abnormal activity because of the number of streams the album received in the past week. So now you're going to be penalized if you have a successful product on Spotify. The next one, number of users who stream the album. If you have too many people that stream your album, you're going to be flagged for abnormal activity. Total number of streams versus the total number of users who stream the track. There's no way in the world you can control that. I know for a fact my daughter pays for Spotify Premium, and I bet she plays the same 7 songs over and over and over and over again. Post Malone is all she listens to, and it's on repeat. If you don't want that to be a problem, then take the repeat function off of the app. But now you're considered having abnormal activity because of that. Number of tracks on an album? Okay, well, if that's going to flag abnormal activity, then you need to set a minimum. You need to have a minimum of 3 songs for an album, or 5 songs for an EP, or 10 songs for an album. Set a minimum. When you don't set one, you can't hold it against artists for that. The album I'm talking about was an EP. It was 5 songs. The next one, number of short-length tracks on the album, less than 60 seconds. Who in the world is putting up songs less than 60 seconds? I've not run across one. If anybody watching or listening tonight has ever seen or put up a song on Spotify that was less than 60 seconds, please let me know. And the number of short-length streams on the album, less than 60 seconds. Again, you cannot control what other people are doing. If you send somebody a link to something on Spotify, my daughters have done it. My wife has done it. Friends have done it. They have sent me a link to something. I clicked on it and I started listening. I got about 30 seconds in. I'm like, not for me. And I click off. Now, you are being flagged for your music having abnormal activity. Or what the title of this email is illegal streaming. Guys, this is serious business. I know that I'm like getting all worked up, but you haven't even heard the rest of the story yet. Oh, and then the last one, territorial activity. As if you can control where a worldwide service, okay? Now Spotify and Ditto are expecting you to be able to only have people in a certain area listen to your music. It's insane. Here's the next sentence after that, and this is where I start to really freak out. It says, products that reach a certain threshold of abnormal activity are flagged by our model as likely to be artificial or removed from Spotify, okay? Now, here's the thing. I'm going to read this again because you're not going to believe what happened. Products that reach a certain threshold of abnormal activity are flagged by our model as likely to be artificial and are removed from Spotify. Likely. Okay? Here's the next sentence. As per our terms of agreement with Spotify, in order to prevent this kind of behavior, we are no longer allowed to deliver further as a per section 8D of our terms and conditions, your account will be closed and all releases in your account will be removed from stores. I'm going to read it again. Pay attention. As per our terms of agreement with Spotify, in order to prevent this kind of behavior, we are no longer allowed to deliver further. And as per Section 8D of our terms and conditions, your account will be closed and all releases in your account will be removed from stores. Guys, less than 10 minutes after I got this email, every single product for every artist that I was using Ditto for distribution for was pulled off of iTunes, was pulled off of Apple Music, was pulled off of Spotify, was pulled off of Google Play, was pulled from every digital distribution sales and streaming site. Every single one of them. You think that causes a problem? So, number one, I reply to this email immediately. And I said, I just got an email from you guys about quote-unquote illegal streaming that I don't understand. There must be some mistake. Please contact me ASAP to correct the mistake. You have locked me out of my... Oh, before we get to this point, so once I get the email, I immediately try to log into my Ditto account and it tells me I've got the wrong username or password. And I've got it saved on the computer. Like I log in all the time to check sales numbers and all of that kind of stuff. They have locked me out of my account. So I continue in the email. I say, you have locked me out of my account with even trying to contact me. I have releases that are coming out, and this is causing a huge problem. Please contact me ASAP to sort this out and restore my account. Now, here's the other side of the story. We had a release coming out Friday. They literally put it up at midnight, Thursday night, Friday morning. They put it up at midnight and yanked it down 9 hours later. A brand spanking new release that we were just putting out into the world on Friday. So I'm wrangling all of these different artists going, look, here's what's happening. Actually, I don't know what's happening, but we're trying to figure it out. I told you, I got that email at 10:55 in the morning. I responded at 11:05, and nothing all day long. So I go to Twitter, which I don't do well. I'm not on Twitter that much. I've said this before. I'm an Instagram person. So I go on Twitter and I tweeted them, and I said, hey guys, basically same thing I said in my email. There's an issue. This is an emergency. We have a new release today. Can somebody please get with me and tell me what's going on? They tweeted me back immediately, almost like it was an autoresponder. And it said, hey, Steve, sorry about this. Have you submitted a support ticket to support@dittomusic.com? They can help you with this and get the problem corrected. I tweeted right back. Yes, I submitted an email and a support ticket 30 minutes ago. And I haven't heard anything. They tweeted back, you should hear something back in 24 hours. My mind, I'm thinking, wait a minute. This is Friday. This is not going to, I'm not going to be able to get this resolved before the weekend. There's just no way. And so I'm like, okay, so I tweet them back. I'm like, look, this is an emergency. Is there nothing we can do to try to get this solved, try to get this figured out, whatever's going on, because this is not right. And basically at 5 minutes after 5 o'clock on Friday, Ditto tweets me back. And let me see if I can pull it out. I'm not even going to paraphrase. Here's what they say. Oh, this was me. I'm going to go down the thread here just because I think it's important. I want you guys to understand what I'm going through. I sent them the initial tweet. Just got an email from you guys. I don't understand. I'm locked out of my label account. Please contact me ASAP. I've submitted a support ticket, but I have a release today. Please contact me ASAP. Ditto tweets me back within minutes. Hey, Steve, have you attempted contacting support@dittomusic.com? They'll be able to help you out with this problem. And I replied, yes, I have, blah, 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 blah. Then January 7th, I tweeted again. Still have not heard anything, and I'm locked out of my account for no reason whatsoever. And then I got a little flex with them. I was like, look, my podcast reaches a lot of people every week around the world. If I don't hear something back from you guys in an hour to resolve the problem, guess what my topic of my podcast is going to be next week? So you can imagine how this is going to proceed because we're talking about it right now. This is the tweet I get back from Ditto in response to that tweet. Hey, Steve, we all finish and head home at 5 p.m. Drop into our DM and we'll help fix this for you when we're back in tomorrow. Okay. And I've never heard another word. Number one, they don't accept DMs. Number one, on their Twitter. You can't DM them. So how can I drop into your DM when you can't DM them? So I tweeted back, it says you don't accept DMs. I don't use Twitter hardly at all, so I DM'd you on Instagram. I just want to be able to log into my account to get the ISRC numbers that we have assigned. I will not be uploading through Ditto any longer, but I need to access the information and the payments. Because here's the thing, guys, we've sold product through them this year. We have a balance, and they've locked me out of the account and will not contact me. They're holding our money. It's one thing pulling it off of all the stores. I get that, whatever. I still don't understand it because we haven't done any of the things that they said that we had done or that was within our control. But they have locked us out of our account and will not allow us to log in to either get our ISRCs or, which I should have assigned them our own ISRCs and I didn't. I allowed them to do it. I'll never do that again. We have our own ISRC numbers and I will use those from now on that we can assign through the company. And I should have, and I didn't. But nevertheless, so we're locked out of our account. We have money in the account that they are not allowing us to have access to. Reports, information, all of that different kind of stuff. And then you heard me talk about the tweet they said earlier. They said that somebody would contact me today. Nobody contacted me today. So I tweeted them an hour ago, and I said, wow, the unprofessionalism. Never heard a word from anyone from Ditto today, as you said I would. At this point, please just provide me your legal counsel's contact so that I can have my attorneys contact them to get this worked out. So, guys, it's not always red carpets and number ones and multi-platinum albums. We have issues. It's not. This has literally caused me loss of sleep. I was just texting an artist, their manager, just a second, and I'm like, I've literally pulled my hair out over this. Now, luckily, I was using Ditto because I wanted to try them out, and I was doing other things. I have a major distribution deal. So, luckily, I called my rep at the distributor, and I said, here's what's happening. And he goes, send me all the release information and we'll make sure everything gets back up.
So my distributor made sure, did everything, helped me on Friday, and right now everything is back up. All of the artist's music is back up. It's a crazy thing. But I wanted to share this with you guys because these are the kind of things that can happen. This happens to everybody. And what I found strange is that these people will not communicate at all. Like at all. They've stopped tweeting me back, which I think using Twitter as a form of business communication is absurd. Pick up the phone and call. Shoot me an email. An email is more professional than trying to communicate with a company over Twitter. I get, hey, I'm in my phone 20 hours of the day. I'm right there. I'm texting, I'm Instagramming, I'm Snapchatting, I'm Facebooking, I'm LinkedIning. I'm all texting, I'm talking, I'm doing all that. I get it. But does anybody else think it's a little strange for something like this to have happened and then seemingly being the only way to communicate with this company is via Twitter? And they're a very reputable company. I'm not tearing them down and saying they're not a reputable company. I would never do business with a company that wasn't reputable. But they are UK-based, and I don't know what that plays into anything. But as it stands right now, I've still not heard anything back from them. They have locked me out of my account, and we have no access to the funds whatsoever.
So as you can see, I'm still highly frustrated. Since that podcast took place, let me tell you what's happened. So I contacted Ditto, and I said, look, I do not agree with what you're saying because it's not true at all. Number one, nobody would ever communicate with me via email or telephone. They continue to only want to deal with me via Twitter. And guys, I'm going to tell you, look, I love social media just as much as the next person, the next guy, the next girl. I love it. I'm on it all the time. But when it comes to serious business matters and business issues, especially concerning finances, I don't think we should be communicating via social media. And any company that wants to only communicate with you via Twitter, I would be a little concerned with, and that automatically to me draws a red flag. But let me tell you where we are. So I contacted them again through Twitter. We have this long direct message thread going on Twitter. And I told them, I said, look, fine, you can say whatever you want to say. I've already taken the records in my artist's product and I've uploaded them through my major distribution deal. So I don't need you anymore. Here's my problem. We have sales accumulated on the records and EPs that I had distributed through your company. What do you plan to do about getting me that money for those projects? I then get a message back from Ditto saying, we show no sales whatsoever on any of your projects. Now, one could go, okay, sure, whatever. But I know for a fact that's not true. I know for a fact that there are a lot of sales that have sold, especially on 2 of the projects that I had put up through Ditto. Number one, they were way behind on reporting that and actually putting that information in the sales and revenue information up on the website. I'd begin to notice that because some of you had commented on the previous video that you had had problems with Ditto not reporting the revenue properly, promptly, on time, or even at all. So I sent them that message and I said, guys, this isn't true. I know we have sales. I know it's not showing on your dashboard, and it wasn't even, and see, they still locked me out of my account. I've still not been able to log in to my account to verify all of that information. But I have a friend who subscribes to SoundScan. Now, for those of you that don't know, SoundScan is the service like Nielsen BDS or Mediabase. They monitor and keep track of every single sale, physical or digital, that is registered with the SoundScan system. So I called a buddy of mine and I said, I need you to look up these 2 projects and tell me about the sales history. And he did. He sent me the report. And of course, we had the sales that I knew that we had. So I went back to Ditto and sent another message, again, through Twitter. And I said, look, we subscribe to SoundScan, and I know for a fact that we have sales that have generated revenue that you owe us. What do you plan to do about getting us that money? Guys, that's when they stop communicating altogether. I've not received another Twitter message. I've not received another email from their support system. So basically, they're going to take the money and run. So to those of you that had placed comments and asked questions about how they were and how it was using them, let me tell you, I'm now updating that video, and I'm telling you, Ditto is not the best digital music distributor of 2018 or 2019 for that matter. Matter of fact, they're not even a good digital distributor. They were in the beginning. And I don't want to mislead any of you. The reasons that I said that I liked Ditto still exist. It was very easy to upload things. They were very timely in getting my releases in the various stores and streaming platforms when I wanted them there. But when it came time to get the revenue that those EPs and albums and singles had generated, that's when we started having a problem. And it also seemed strange that when it was time to pay and there was money due, that's all of a sudden when Spotify had a problem with quote unquote illegal streams on our content. Since having this problem, I of course do like I do with everything else, and I start researching. I start finding more and more and more people having problems with Ditto not paying the revenue that they're due or shutting people's accounts down. So I'm here to tell you, buyer beware. Do not do business with Ditto Music Distribution. They're based in the UK, which is not a bad thing. A lot of companies are based in the UK. But they tout their distribution services, having previously distributed artists like Ed Sheeran. Don't be fooled by past successes. You only judge somebody you're going to do business with what they have done lately. You remember the old saying, what have you done for me lately? Well, that applies here. And after having to deal with Ditto one-on-one with an issue, a significant issue, I can tell you they're not somebody that you want to do business with. They're not somebody that you want to entrust your music to. And I've also found that they're not somebody that's going to pay you the money that they owe you. Buyer beware. I apologize if my previous video led any of you to Ditto and if you're experiencing those same problems. If you're not and everything's running smoothly, good. I still might consider pulling my content down and taking it to another distributor just to be on the safe side. Because what happens if your sales do skyrocket? Is Ditto going to pay you? Are they just one day going to lock you out of your account and remove your releases when they owe you money? I have to say yes, because that's been my experience in the last 30 days. That's why I wanted to do this video. That's why I wanted to do an update to an update video. Guys, stay away from Ditto. As always, thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you got something out of it. If you've had a similar experience to this, please feel free to leave your story in the comment section down below. Tell me all about it. Tell me what happened with you. The more stories we can get out there, the better. We want to keep everyone informed. My channel is all about independent artists, songwriters, producers, how to be successful. And you can't be successful if you've got a distribution partner that will lock you out of your account, remove your content, and most importantly, not pay you the money that they owe you. When the fruits of your hard work and your labor finally start to show, you just can't have that happen. Guys, thanks again for watching the video. Guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We're growing like crazy, and that's thanks to you. Hit that subscription button. Make sure that you hit the bell icon next to it so that you're notified every time I upload a new video. Follow me across social media at The Steve Freeman everywhere. And don't forget, join us every Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Central, live for the Steve Freeman podcast. It's an awesome time, and you just flat don't want to miss out on it. Be there or be square Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Guys, thank you so much. And as always, keep being creative. Keep pressing the boundaries. And there's nothing wrong with being independent. See you next time.